How y'all doing? Good? Hey, now that I have your attention, it's 2 o'clock in the morning, May 24, 2014. I'm in downtown San Jose, lying on the pavement. My hands are tied behind my back. I'm locked, handcuffed. Sirens are going off. I hear screams from the crowd. I hear officers yelling me to get back. I'm lost, confused on how I ended up here. I'm bleeding. My arms, my legs, my head all bruised. Where am I? Everything is happening so fast. I was leaving a graduation party. It was the graduation I had just spoke at for the San Jose State University's black class. My speech was about finding your power and striving for excellence. But here I was only hours later, powerless, empty, feeling alone. Moments after the graduation party ended, officers grabbed my friend who I was staying with for the night. I saw multiple officers approach and question him as a criminal before they even knew who he was. It was upsetting to see my friend being treated this way for no apparent reason. So I questioned officers on what I believed was a real concern of unnecessary force. But because I was supposedly invading the scene, an officer decided to grab me and attempt to show me that my questioning would no longer be tolerated in the presence of law enforcement. I was thrown to the ground and beat with a baton repeatedly, again and again and again. So here I am. I can't fully explain to you how destroyed I felt, how defeated I felt, how worthless I felt, that I didn't matter. I was labeled and defined a criminal and surely beaten and treated as one. Tears ran down my face. All hope was lost. Never have I ever felt like life was pointless. All the courage and hope that I had was taken from me. And for the first time in my life, I was the lowest I'd ever been. How many of you have ever felt like you were nothing? Like you were worthless, powerless, that you weren't good enough? Some of you feel that way right now. But I'm here to tell you one thing. That's not your story. Those are the make-believes, the greedy for money narrative, the constructs and characters that you've been labeled and made to agree with. So stop it. Stop it now. Stop that story. Stop it from controlling you. The lies. Stop the propaganda. There is no message. Only economics dictating politics. And artificial progress made positive. This is not Diddy's Revolt, MTV, BET, your favorite reality show. The revolution will not be televised. I am not a social construct. I don't believe in hierarchy. Authority only made me obedient to a structure that never leveled me equal. I'm the rebel without a cause because I never needed a reason to fight for basic human rights. So don't call me an activist. I'm not here for your praise, or for you to appropriate my words to make appropriate for girls with low self-esteem. Capitalist pigs and the prison industry is your biggest investment. Don't dismiss the fact that there are more blacks in prison than enslaved in 1850. And that the war on drugs is greater than the war on education. We give more sentences than actually teach them, and give hope for great careers as if everyone has an equal opportunity to achieve them. I'm hungry for success, but I live in a food desert. We're Jack in the Box, tacos, Big Macs, Taco Bell, nachos, cornered by liquor stores, drunk on your lies, starving for the truth, throwing up on the contradictions on why I became so inferior to you. Stop the propaganda, there is no message, only economics dictating politics and artificial progress made positive. This is not Diddy's Revolt, MTV, BET, your favorite reality show. The revolution will not be televised. Rewind to the time of the forces, strong as the Haitian Revolution. Rewind to the time when Nat Turner led a slave revolt, the 1841, the narrative of Frederick Douglass, the narrative of Sojourner's Truth, and Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man. What's your power? Speak your truth. Show the youth that 1921, Tulsa, Oklahoma was the epicenter of black business expansion before the KKK looted and burned every holy business. Destroyed and killed every potential of the city, and celebrated the lynching of another brother gone. I call that Dred Scott. Courts rule we will never be free. Courts overturned affirmative action to obtain a degree. I got my bachelor's, but I've been working for my master's since 1853. I am Maya Angelou's Cage Bird. I am Tupac Shakur's Concrete Rose. I am the Black Jesus with the Malcolm X soul, played by Sidney Poitier and Denzel Broder, winning Oscar for Oscar Grant. For all the fathers, gun violence stole. Let the revolution, let the poetry unfold. so that the music speaks of a soul and soul. The time is now to stop the propaganda. There is no message, only economics dictating politics and artificial progress made positive. This is not Diddy's Revolt, MTV, BET, your favorite reality show. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will be internalized. And it starts with you. After my interaction with the San Jose State Police, I had two choices to make. I had to ask myself, who am I fighting? It was in that understanding that I could have been upset and said, all right, it's time to rally. We can get everyone in San Jose and we can say, let's forget the system. But the approach is that we have to build our energy and innovate as entrepreneurs, as creators. If we spend all our energy reacting to people who are trying to oppress us or who are trying to make us feel inferior, we will never win. Because he who angers you conquers you. So my response was to tell my story before they did. I decided not to react and let my emotions control me. I was fighting against the power, but the power that was within me. That's my story. Those who make you feel inferior or less than are only trying to write the story for you. And you give them access to your story when you react. Your dialogue automatically becomes directed to the plot. The more you react, the more the story they've created and developed for the narrative of your life. They know what makes you angry. You have to really understand, guys, that you are the master of your fate, you're the captain of your soul. They say you're not smart enough. Tell your story before they do. They say you're not tall enough. Tell your story before they do. They say you'll never make it, that you won't accomplish anything. Tell your story before they do. You can be angry, you can seek revenge, you can blame, you can attempt to try to destroy who destroyed you. You can waste much of your energy trying to prove yourself. But living your life on the basis of the thoughts of other people will never allow you to accomplish anything. You have to search deep within and find peace and tell your story before they do. Your thoughts become your actions. If your story is the same of I've struggled and I've been fighting, you're going to continue to keep struggling and fighting and have that same message, realizing that it's going to be that approach when you feel like you have to prove something to someone. It's more of an understanding that the story that you create has to be the story that is unique to you. Don't claim the identity that's been set for you. Create your own. So many people live their stereotypes, but you don't have to claim what people have thought you to be. That's something that for the longest I've struggled with, as trying to be this black man in America trying to make it. I'm a human being. Yes, I'm cultural. I'm proud to be black, but there's a lot of things that define me. But more than anything, for people to really find and build their own story. Because once they build their own story, the possibilities are endless. There's no limit. There's no stereotype or category that you'll fit in. So how do we begin to find our true story? The biggest way to find your story is to rid yourself of all the stories that have been told of you. To get rid of your own ego. The sad reality is that so many of us want someone else to tell the story for us. And we accept these narratives with no fight for our true self. People don't ever really take the time to really figure out what it is that they really care about. What it is that they're really passionate about. And in this social media age, it's almost like this validation through likes and followers and this whole idea of a brand of who you think people want you to be. That you almost continue to repeat that just to have that validation. I have a program called Movement B, and when I work with my students, we do this activity called Cross the Line. I tell them from questions of all over, cross the line if you like Justin Bieber. And then I say, well, cross the line if you've ever felt lonely. Cross the line if you've ever felt depressed. Cross the line if you've ever felt suicidal. The other night I had a chance to witness one of my students do a one-man show for his senior project called Who Am I Uplifting? And he came open with the audience to talk about the death of his brother and his father, and then his mother's addiction to crack cocaine. He was honest, he was real, and he shone so much light on what his purpose was. If you show yourself as a human being who can make mistakes, who's imperfect from the root, that has a lot of issues, that's where you can begin to find your true story and embrace and build that. That's the story you tell, the imperfect human being trying to dream big dreams. When you're able to do this, you find meaning in your life with no fear. You begin a journey of fulfillment of your life's purpose. You will make mistakes, you will fail repeatedly, but that's the beauty of it. Owning it and not letting anyone discourage you, embrace it. Be you. There's so much power in your uniqueness. Tell your story before they do. What I often find is that the invisible power is that power that's within us. I let go of all the propaganda, the stereotypes, the categories people have boxed me in, my own ego, my own importance, and find out how I can best serve others. So I can utilize my gifts and find the ones I've yet to discover. We all have that power within us. But it's all those ideas of someone shooting your dreams down so you get afraid of doing it. Don't go out there telling everyone you're dreaming. Just do it. People will see it. You don't have to tell people what you're working on. You tell your story by showing it, by actually living it, by actually being it. And people will have to accept it. People will have to respect it. 5 things I want to leave you guys with today that I did earlier in the interview for the Train of Thought podcast. 5 things of advice that I give. 1, believe in yourself. Fully always believe that you can do anything. You have the power. You have to really believe in yourself. You hear it all the time, but truly believe in your power. Believe in your greatness. 2, don't let people tell the story for you. Don't step out the box. Get rid of the box completely. The box does not exist. It's one thing to get out the box. It's another to kick that box away so that you will never have to be placed in that box again. 3, you're the average of the 5 people you hang out with the most. There's 2 types of people in the world. People who inspire you and people who drain you. Choose wisely. You need to be around people who are smarter than you. People who have more money than you. People who are going to see the greatness in you and uplift you to do that. 4, read, read, read. Reading is so important. I didn't really start reading a lot until after college because I was so used to all these books that were given to me, I didn't want to read. But when you find books that engage you, you realize there's so many secrets there. So find a passion for reading. And the last thing I will tell you is to take care of yourself, self-care, your body, okay? Work out, physical fitness, okay? Eat well, eat healthy, meditate. I meditate every day, morning and in the night. Make sure that I wake up early in the morning so that I have a great day, so I can live the greatest life that I can. Most days I find myself in the corner of my room, lights off, eyes closed, and blocking out all the noise from the world. I'm searching deep within, creating beauty out of all the chaos in my life, finding peace, inner joy, true happiness. From there, I'm finding meaning to tell my story before they do. I challenge you today to ask yourself if you're living a true purposeful life. Are you the writer of your story, or are you acting from a script that someone else wrote? If so, trash it today. Begin today to be great, to be what you were called to be, finding a meaningful life. We all have these things that's in us, so explore, discover, and be the best you. I had a decision to make when I was beat by San Jose police. I could have reacted and been angry and let them control the story of my life. Or I could have realized the power that's within me and realized how great I am, how no one can defeat me, how I'm powerful beyond measure, and began to tell the story for myself. I challenge you to start today. Chapter 1 starts now. Thank you.